the apostles. Who are the apostles in the book of Acts? They look to the apostles as the source of teaching. They carry what's right and what's wrong. They have that authority, and that's why St. Peter, when he looked at the couple, it was very harsh, but that's what he said. He said, you cannot do that to God. We're not here as humans. We are on behalf of the Holy Spirit. We speak with the Holy Spirit words. Now, the church had seen the apostles as the office. The beginning of the book of Acts, in chapter 1, St. Peter says we have to replace Judas. Why? Judas, of course, killed himself. Why do we need to replace someone? Then the idea is, when do you replace people? When they have an office. There's a place in a company. You cannot just leave it open. You have a CEO, you have somebody who is a leader. You cannot just say that's not necessary, somebody gone does. So it is not about the apostle's person, it is actually his seat, his role, his office. So now when the church knows there is a place for the church to be seated on the place of the apostles. That's why we have successors, right? We have successors of the apostles. It's not just left for everybody. Some people say, I don't need bishops. Said who? Who said that? You don't need bishops. The book of Acts says there is an office. We have to replace Judas, and we have to find somebody else. There is also a place for deacons, right? Take care of the financial issues of the church. Like every church has got something called the board of deacons. Why the board of deacons? Because they take care of the material stuff. If a priest takes care of the materials, I have no place to pray or teach or take confessions or any of that stuff. There's also a place for elders. Who are the elders? We call them elders in the book of Acts. Who are the elders? They help the apostles. They become the right hand of the apostles. The priests, presbyters, they are the elders in the book of Acts. One more thing about the book of Acts, when you see breaking of bread, what does it mean? Communion. The breaking of bread is communion. So the three things that the people in the church used to do: pray, receive the teaching of the apostles, and break bread. The prayer, the breaking of the bread, and the teaching of the apostles. That's the three things used to do from house to house. Can I have 5 minutes on this so we can start this? Do you have this? I'm going to do you a better job with it, but let's look at what I want from you on this table from when we start the letters of St. Paul. Next time it's going to be all about the letters. I want you to know at least what the name of, so you have Romans. How many letters St. Paul wrote? It's 14 letter, right? 14 letter. Remember, St. Paul wrote 14 letters. I want you to remember them in order of them in the Bible, in the New Testament. So you have Romans, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and then 2 Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus and Philemon. How do you remember them? How I remember the order of them? You have 1, couple, 4, couple, 2. You have it in the song? Good. Whatever you do, I just remember them. Like Romans by itself, then a couple, that's 1st and 2nd Corinthians. Then 4, which is Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. The 4 small ones. And then you have another 2 couples, which is Thessalonians and 1st and 2nd Timothy. And then you have the last 2 singles, which is Titus and Philemon. Yeah. Okay. What is Romans? I call Romans, this is what I want you to remember. Romans is the gospel of St. Paul. If you want to hear St. Paul preaching, and why is he doing that? To respond to Romans is one of his responses to the Judaizers. Absolutely. If you don't understand that, Romans will be completely obscured. You will not understand anything from it. 1st and 2nd Corinthians, it's about moral issues in the church. Moral issues. He has to confront sexual immorality. He has to confront sectarianism. He has to confront them calling him not a true apostle. Galatians is a very harsh letter. Again, Apparently, Galatians were infested by the Judaizers. So Galatians is about the return to the law of Moses. Ephesians is a poem, most beautiful, actually letter, most beautiful letter written by St. Paul. It is a poem about the church. So the Ephesians is all about the church. You want to hear St. Paul talks about the church, what the church is about? Ephesians. How about Philippians? It is his most, I want to say, endearing letter. He loved the Philippians. It's about the filial love in the church.
Was he in prison at that time?
No, and it's one of the, yes, we have to, yes, one of the 4 imprisonment letters, which are, they say the F's,
What?
all the ones that has F.
Philippians, Philemon.
Yes, and the 2 Timothy, think, 1st and 2nd Timothy were there.
So that's it, just Philippians.
Yeah.
1st and 2nd Timothy, Philemon.
And Philemon, you're right. I think Ephesians 2. You're right. I think Ephesians 2.
So stop.
Maybe one of the Timothys, not the 2. One of the Timothys, and then Ephesians, because the F, Philemon, Ephesians, and Philippians, and then 2 Timothy. Philippians is about the unity of the church, the unity that comes from love. How about Colossians? Colossians is about the eternal or the cosmic Christ of the cosmos, the one that actually not just has to do with Christians, he's dealing with the whole creation of God. Colossians, it might be a different letter. We'll do this next time. I'll tell you which one is called the imprisonment letters. Thessalonians is about the second coming. Thessalonians is all about eschatology. Eschatology. 1st and 2nd Timothy and Titus, we call them pastoral letters. It's an instruction of St. Paul to bishops. Pastoral letters. Philemon is a very special letter, and it's about that slave that ran from Philemon, and St. Paul is trying to return him back as a brother, not as a slave. That's it. So Romans, the Gospel of St. Paul. 1st and 2nd Corinthians, some issues that has sexual immorality and division. Galatians, Judaizers, yes, fighting them harshly in that. And Ephesians, the church, right? Philippians, unity that comes out of love, right? Because they have that 2 girls, 2 servant women that I think were, and not Phoebe, it was tell this and this. Trophimus and Trophosa, something like that. No. That he specifically said to have one mind, because apparently they were very active, serving with all their power, but they were always clashing, right? But he spoke to them very candidly. He spoke to them from his heart. He said, "You're the ones who helped me from the beginning." We said Colossians about the cosmic Christ of everything, and in Thessalonians is the second coming. 1st and 2nd Timothy and Titus, instruction to the bishops, and Philemon